First of all, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now, you're probably looking at the title and like, Mike, what the hell are you talking about? Essentially, what this is an article or an interview with Calvin Johnson where they went in depth and they asked him a couple questions. He essentially insinuated that if he were to come out of retirement, that he would want to play for somebody like a Derek Carr. Now, as a disclaimer, this article was written by a Raiders fan, so obviously it's a little biased. But if you look at everything that's leading up to it, the situation that's happening right now, it's a very possible thing. I want to get into the article right here and read you a couple excerpts on what exactly he said. The basic gist of this article is that Calvin Johnson suggested that he would still be playing professional football if the Lions released his contract. This article talks about how Megatron doesn't really play in a position that has a short shelf life. Megatron, he's a wide receiver. He's only like 30 years old. There's still a possibility he can come back and be a good player. Calvin Johnson said, "I don't have the freedom to just go. I was stuck in my contract with Detroit, and they told me they would not release my contract, so I would have to come back to them. So I didn't see a chance for them to win a Super Bowl at the time, and for the work I was putting in, it didn't seem worth beating my head against the wall, not going anywhere." It's the definition of insanity. In the interview, which I will leave as a link in the description, Calvin Johnson also added that he's definitely thought about playing for other teams in the NFL. This situation is very similar to the situation of Marshawn Lynch. In that instance, the Seahawks didn't let Lynch out of his contract. They simply couldn't afford it. So they traded him to the Raiders, and the two sides negotiated a new deal. Now, when Calvin was asked what were some of the quarterbacks that he really wanted to play with in the NFL, he said this: Brett Favre. When I came into the league, he was on his way out, but I got to see him play in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is the other Green Bay guy who has got a cannon for an arm. There's a young cat that I just met, Derek Carr, out of Oakland. I really like that guy. Now, obviously, this is very circumstantial, but there is a very big insinuation that if Megatron could get out of his contract and play with a quarterback in the NFL, in today's NFL, it would be somebody like a Derek Carr. So essentially, Calvin Johnson is willing to come out of retirement, or essentially, or possibly, or might be willing to come out of retirement if he can play for a championship contender. That's essentially what he insinuated with his comments. He was helping out at a Raiders training camp, at least I'm pretty sure it was a Raiders training camp, and he saw Marshawn Lynch, he saw the situation he was in, and I bet you he was thinking, man, that would be kind of cool for me. Now, the only way that this would actually happen is if Calvin Johnson came out of retirement, his contract, it was still with the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions would have to either release him, which I doubt they would ever do that, or they'd have to trade him to the Raiders. Now, for the Raiders to actually get Calvin Johnson on their team, they'd have to give up a good amount of assets. I would bet at least a couple draft picks. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything crazy because chances are this deal was never thought to have happened before. And if Calvin says, listen, there's no way I'm ever going to play for the Lions ever again, the Lions will be dumb to not trade him and at least get something for literally nothing. So I think that there is at least a chance, at least a possibility that we could see Megatron back in the NFL. Now, I do have a question for you Lions fans. Is this something that you want? Like, are you okay with this? I know you guys are obviously all very big Lions fans, very big Calvin Johnson Megatron fans. Would you be okay with him playing in a different uniform? I feel like at first you guys are gonna say, Mike, no way. I don't want him to play in a different uniform. I want him to stick with the Lions for his entire career. But then once you think about it, you're like, okay, there's no way he's gonna ever play for any other team. God damn it. I don't really remember where I was at right there, but I think I was talking about Calvin Johnson never being able to come back to the Detroit Lions. He's only going to play for the Oakland Raiders, or somebody that has a quarterback like the Oakland Raiders. So Lions fans, if this gives you an opportunity to watch your man, Calvin Johnson, will always be known as a Detroit Lion, Calvin Johnson to come back in the NFL, would you guys want that? Obviously, I'm not a Lions fan. I've never really been like a diehard Lions fan. I am a massive Calvin Johnson fan. Like that's my favorite NFL player of all time. Calvin Johnson, I would love to see him come back. I would absolutely love it. There's also probably a question on your guys' mind of like, Mike, is there really a possibility that this could happen? Now, I would say there's a chance, okay? There's a chance. There's not a guarantee. I would say maybe like 10, 15% chance. But if there's a 15% chance that Calvin Johnson could come back, could come play in the NFL again, I'll take that any day of the week. Guys, what do you think in the comment section? Do you think Calvin Johnson is gonna come back to the NFL? And if he does, is he gonna go to the Oakland Raiders? Is he gonna pair up with Derek Carr? Dude, if he does, then that means he's back in Madden Ultimate Team, either as a legend card or either as a base card. I don't even care, but that means we get another Calvin Johnson. Guys, I know this video is a little weird. It's a little different. It's not normally what I do, but honestly, like I said, Madden kind of dying down. You guys obviously aren't very interested in the Madden videos, so I figured if there's an NFL news story, I'll bring it out to you. I don't know. If you guys like it, just drop a like. I want to thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like down below. Subscribe if you are new. And guys, I'll see you in my next upload. Peace.